Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting that subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, weather, right? All over the place right now. Slow bite trolling over the reef. Nothing new for this time of the year. Cold front coming Sunday. We will get to it. That is what it is. Next couple of days, weather's going to be beautiful, like a lake out there. If you can get out over the weekend, it will start picking up Sunday into Monday overnight. The wind's going to start blowing, so we will get a cool down. We got fairly nice weather going on, upper 70s, lower 80s over the next couple of days. All right, let's start talking about fishing, right? We got this dude, Mr. Pedro Ramos, out in Costa Rica. Look at this. I thought it's a trevally. I don't know the difference between a GT and a bluefin trevally or nothing, but he got it done. He makes his, a trip or two down there every year. And hey, you're done. Here he is. Yeah. Hey, Pedro. That's a nice fish, dude. All right. Keep on keeping on, folks. That was, yes, that is our out of state show right there. Let's keep going on. Pedro is putting on a clinic down there, boy. All right, so we'll start out. Let's go for a little bit of fresh water here. You're back in town. Hey, all right, perfect. All righty, Marlo Candialeva with a dogfish or a bowfin. I have been corrected on this as she has told me. Yep. Going out there hitting that fresh water, always on her paddle boards or whatever, showing her her husband how it's really done. All right, trolled a green X-Wrap. Trolled a green X-Wrap, got a gag group. Yeah, hey, awesome. Love it when you get groupers on the troll, man. That's awesome stuff. Good deal. Okay, yes. All right, Kevin. Found every Spanish mackerel on the West Coast, apparently. He did great. You gotta love it when you get a haul like that. He's also went out and did a little bit of playing with the Goliath grouper. Yes. So it looks like Kevin went out and had a little bit of fun this weekend. Eating good and having some fun. All right, let's look for some more shallow water creatures. Nothing real. That's about it, right? So we do the snapper are biting, right, folks? This past weekend, I tried to get out there. The current was kind of non-existent. I mean, none. So no yellowtail fishing, no nothing. I see everybody lined up on the ledge looking for the sailfish. Time of year, folks. All right, so let's start looking at the pelagic. So we got Sean with a nice bull dolphin on a boat too, not on a jet ski, by the way, folks. Yes. I believe he said he went out to Key Largo somewhere and got this, and it's hey, that's a nice dolphin too, man. Very nice. All right, Sean. He's learning to get off that jet ski and get on a boat. Oh, there's a ton of replies. Oh, he even put the food he made. Oh, he got that, brought that somewhere and they cooked it for me. Man, woo, Lord. That looks good. All right. Yes, here's his answers. Key Largo. 750, no one in sight, and a weed line all to himself. School of small bonitas jumping all around. None with, yeah. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they're feeding a lot on like minnows and stuff, and your bait is not kind of in line with what they're feeding on, they're gonna leave it alone. Yes, I've had that happen. Okay. Caught a king and a wahoo. King and a $120, wahoo and 200 out of Sebastian. Hey, there he is, Mr. Solo Pelagic himself. We just showed your dolphin. Very nice fish. And your food too, which was, all right, nice king, nice wahoo. This is Tony out of Sebastian. Great. So if you're wondering if the fish are biting up north, they are. Gary went out a couple of times. He's got this nice little amberjack. He's even showed you his fish finder. Split screen going on right here with a little bit of a zoom in. And that's where he ended up dropping on him. You can see the fish marking well. Swim bladders, that is that arch that you see. That's a fish swim bladder. Slow pitch jigging, 200-gram jig on a Johnny Jigs level 1 rod. Nice. All right, there you go. And even better is he's got on, the right. If you have on the right fishing shirt, that is more important than catching fish and feeding your family. Come on. Do you always got to chum when shark fishing? No. But if you're yellowtail fishing, yes. Shark fishing, it helps if you're chumming and you're getting the water all bloody. The shark fishing I've done is from the beach, incidentally, from boats getting hooked up with the beach stuff, and you don't chum them up. You can't chum the beach and bring the sharks. Let's see, 7 hours of running and gunning to catch that fish. Wow. Hey, man, talk about that one fish making it, right? All right, Gary, he's getting her done. Let me show you Gary's other one because he had me confused too. Went out and said he slow pitched up a Rosie. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You're an animal. And he's got the electric reel that'll do the jigging for you, which is great stuff. Still, hey, whatever it takes to get it done, you get out there and you put some food on the table. So Gary is, getting dialed in on a couple different, tactics and stuff while we're in the slow season, folks. All right. Back up where we were. All right, so we saw Sean and his fish. We saw Pedro and that giant jack. We got Yasmini. More Reef grocery shopping right here. A bunch of kings and a nice blackfin. So it's weird. I'll be honest with you. I've done several hours of trolling over the last few weeks. And not a nibble. Some people get it. I'm not sure if he's live baiting or whatnot. It is what it is. The trolling, I'm telling you, the trolling's slow right now. I'm literally considering going with, switching over to some live baiting and stuff just so I can, get a little bit of something on the boat. Not even the little false albacore torturing me. Michael, 3 decent kings on the flatline again. Got sharked about 15 feet from the boat on a button. Of course, there you go. But decent day on the bottom off point. All right, there you go. Hey, kingfish is kingfish, folks. The wahoo are alert. Sean, we know that it's patience. And with the amount that you fish and going out in the conditions that you do, you're going to get it. Listen, wahoo, you can target them. Target. You get it's still an elusive fish. If you could get out on the water every day and do nothing but target wahoo, you would have a photo album full of it. But, the opportunities that we get, and do we stick with the wahoo if they're not biting? That's where it comes from. Hey, there we go. Welcome to the club. We're all part of it, man. I don't catch wahoo left and right. No, they're charter guys do. We got Captain Jim out of Boynton. He's got them dialed in, but guys, he does it for a living. You will run across a wahoo eventually, and it's going to drag you a little jet ski halfway to the Bahamas. That's going to be all. You're going to watch. You're going to be the guy that catches the 100-pounder off the Tri-County area, and then you're going to be all over the local news. Anyway, so the kingfish are swimming around, folks. Back to it. All right, we got Sean Townsend. Looks like he went, they're catching dolphin too. Went 2 for 3 on mahi and $1.40. Fished for about 4 hours. I'm not sure. He says flyers were getting busted on. That's the flying fish. So they were going after that. But hey, what they caught him on, I'm not sure. But that's a solid dolphin right there in his hands. Definitely. Sean. Here we are, Captain Jim. And as I brag about Captain Jim and his wahoos, here he goes with the Barracuda to show everybody. Hey, listen, it happens. Like I said, the fish, the trolling, even for a seasoned charter captain, hey, fishing, right, folks? Captain Jim, please. Let me tell you, folks, solid guy, gets articles written about him, great family man, great captain, family-friendly fishing. Get out on there. Kiddos are going to have fun. If you're looking out there, get out there for a fish of a lifetime, he can put you on it. He's in Boynton, right? So if you're looking for a chartered captain in Boynton, you know, get out there and do it. Give Jim a call. If you can't get a hold of him, call me or text me or something. Email me. I don't know. Write a note on here. I'm in Venice. People say the King Lee. Is that true? Can you get them? Yeah. Up. You're in Venice. Yeah. They definitely come in the shallows on the West Coast. The big kings. You'll get 40 pounders in 5 feet of water out there. Yes. I know it's a bit ways from you, but Skyway Bridge, the Skyway Pier, yes, they go out there and they get them. So yes, on the West Coast, the king migration pattern is a little bit different, and the reef structure and all the bottom, everything is entirely different in the Gulf of America than it is out here in the Atlantic. Now again, trolling Bonita. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And remember, they're a migratory fish. So once the migration is done, the pickings is going to slow down. You will have days where it's a very hot bite, and then you're going to have days where you're going to question your own existence because you can't get into it. Mr. Sean, I'm definitely going to try bait next. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I'm going to do a couple of videos here on live baiting just to, help folks make some smart decisions about what they're doing and all that, Sean. It's a whole different game. Catch sailfish and smoke it. Yeah, try it out. Yeah, smoked sailfish is great. I used to, in the 80s when I was growing up, when I was a, preteen and all that, the teenager, we'd keep every sailfish that we caught. So I've eaten plenty of them. They're good. Grandma used to eat it back in did I just say that's the 80s? That's funny. I didn't even read your whole message. Yes. Yeah. You can get, and don't worry about it. Everybody's gonna hate on you for keeping a sailfish, but there's you got you have to renew your HMS permit and then you can keep them. They're good. Don't forget to renew it. You gotta have one for shoot. What did I just do? You got to have one for sailfish keeping. All right, back to fish. Or where were we? All right, Gary, Sean. So we're seeing dolphin show up. Here we go. Some more dolphin. Ed Jesus. He's got a couple of keeper dolphins, right? Getting the kid out there, getting some tacos going on. And James. Now, this is how you hit the reef, folks. Let me show you. This is pretty much everything the reef has to offer. We've got some blue runners. We've got an amberjack. We've got a kingfish. We've got another amberjack. And then we've got, it could be, and then we've got the wahoo. So this is a great reef haul right here. Those actually almost look like almacos. Regardless, almaco, amberjack, one. Yeah. This is a great reef haul. James, thank you for the contribution and showing everyone what it, what the reef can produce for you. This is, South Florida, our Tri-County area. These are the spoils of your hunting expedition. All right, Kevin, here we go. Carlos, forgot about this in the shallow stuff. Look, we got the kiddo with the yellow tail right there. Out of all, hate me if you want to. My favorite snapper is the yellow tail, but I grew up fishing for him. So, yes, this kid looks ultra happy, and you get him hooked on that, and the next thing you know, he's going to be out there progressing. Dolphin, tuna, wahoo, sailfish, and before you know it, you're looking for only big fish. Love the smell. All right, James, and on top of his reef haul, looks like he ran into a mahi. He's got some tacos and reef groceries going on. Very good. And Tony, nice little juvenile wahoo some of the good stuff right there. They taste real good. All right, so that is our fishing report, right, folks? We all know that it's the wahoo are swimming around. Yes, they are. They're kind of scattered right now. It's no longer fall. We're heading into December. The fishing is going to be slow. If you really can't, the absence of a bite or the work it takes to get to a bite, try for your snappers over structure, whatever it may be. Right now, it's going to be you're going to be seeing a lot of Almaco jacks being pulled up and beeliners, also known as vermilion snapper. You're going to see a lot of charter boats going out and getting that because they got to keep customers happy. But if you're looking for what is biting, you can kind of study that case and go out there and find your vermilion spots and pick some of them off. And remember, out here, we do have American red snapper out there off the East Coast. They're not abundant, but you run into them on your vermilion spots periodically. So that's that, right, folks? All right, let's talk about weather. Like I said, we got a cold front coming through on Sunday. All right, right now we're in a little very calm place with weather. So we're going to go over it right now. This is where we are right now. So we'll look at tomorrow morning, right? We got this, we got looks like an east-southeast wind. Okay, this is windy, folks. If you have not been introduced to these websites, they're in the description for this video. You go, copy, paste, use it at your disposal. Forecast models, they're great stuff. You can just play around. We got a color-coded chart down here that correlates with the wind speeds, wave heights, everything else that you see. You can also click and point, and it'll tell you precise locations and wind speeds or whatever the other accumulation of whatever nature is giving us for that, whatever graphic you're pulling up that's over here. All right, so tomorrow morning in the Tri-County area, 8 knots from the southeast, but we've got very laid down seas. You can go on ahead and pull up your webcam. You'll see it down in the Keys. Look at it, 10 knots. And over on the west coast for my buddy from Venice here, so you see you're not too far away from the Skyway Pier, but yes, this is the area where the kingfish, they come. You got to remember, over here is the middle grounds, and that's a lot of fish hang out there, and in between here and there is fish got to eat. All right, so yeah, tomorrow not too bad, right? Over the next couple of days, I'm telling you, even though we see some wind, the prediction is that the seas will stay fairly subdued, right? So if we come up here and we look, you see like you got 10 knot from the east wind, southeast wind. Even the further up the state we go, but you'll see when we get into our wind and wave heights, it's not as bad. Heading into Friday, looks like it's still going to hold steady at about the low double-digit area, all the way up and down the coast. Of course, you can see this green shaded area right here that I'm looking at. If I got this green up here and I got this green down here, I don't have to go over a whole bunch of things. Now, we do notice that we look, down here off Key West and stuff, we've got a little bit of elevated winds, and then you've got Captain Mercurio, who goes out to Holy Ridge way out here and dealing with some weather. But yeah, very seasoned captain who's been doing it his whole life. Definitely makes weather calls and stuff. All right, so yes, so that's heading into Friday, Saturday. Not much changes. It's around low double digits all the way until you get up north. If anything, the wind might shift a little bit more from the south, but we're looking about the same weather pattern throughout the next 3 days at least. Saturday into the afternoon looks like it's staying the same, depending upon where you click. 8 to 10. So as you can see now I'm fairly certain it is going to die down pre-cold front come Sunday. Let's see if I'm lying about that. No, I'm not. So our cold front, and as you can see, it's going to really die down. Now let me zoom out and show you where it is. So Sunday morning, see the cold front is up just south of the Panhandle. So you've got all day in front of this front. Now let me explain to you. If you are looking for that pre-front bite, mackerel, wahoo, whatever it might be, this would be an exceptional time to get out there, maybe till about midday, and then go on ahead and pack it up because you're going to have some weather rolling in. Okay, folks. Yeah, hey, man, looking great for, like I said, Sunday. And again, it's going to hang out and be dead flat. So we might have a little bump in the wind, in the waves from the wind through the, yes, sir. See you out there. You going to go out of BOCA this time? Or am I going to have to hunt you down and go south? Yeah, so as you can see, Sunday, it's hanging out nice, and like I said, there will be a little bit of waves, even though the lack of wind. But you need a little bump in the stump for the fish to bite. All right, Monday, like I said, here's the cold front. It pushes through overnight, and then the wind starts ripping, so the weather will deteriorate come early next week. All right, so let's go back to tomorrow morning, and let's start looking at our waves, right? So, like I said, over the next tomorrow and Friday, we will have yes, I will be on the ski on Sunday. Yes, awesome. Good deal. We're never going to run into out of Hillsborough. Yeah. I'm trying to, here's my issue, Sean, is I leave out of BOCA and I can head south, right? It'd take me, 10 minutes to get down to Hillsborough. Here's the issue is you've got the Bolo that leaves out of there, right? You've got Killing Time Charter, Captain Tommy. You've got the Starlight Fleet, and then a million other fishing vessels and dive boats. Lady Go Diver, my favorite one, who again pulled some shenanigans this weekend, but I won't go into it. They all leave out of that inlet, right? And just to the south, you have the rodeo grounds. So heading down there, you've got a very crowded reef. And all of those folks start trolling from the south and they head north, and it ends up north of BOCA and up into Boynton. So heading south towards Hillsborough, where it's crowded, unless I'm really focused on, going out for tilefish out off of the Atlantic Pier, or I'm heading down to a specific reef, or maybe heading even further south towards Port Everglades. We got Tenneco Towers and all stuff down there, way south. Pompano, I grew up fishing there all through the 80s and the 90s. It's run its course. I like, if that makes any sense. I try to stay away. And if the reef gets really obnoxious for me, and even though I want to fish it sometimes, I'll just be like, you know what, I'm not, I get it that there is a set of etiquette that folks can follow when trolling a reef, but I don't want to be controversial or, anything. Is I just let it go and keep on keeping on. And once it gets out of control, it's time to go find something else to do. Anyway, tomorrow, 1 foot, 2 foot in the afternoon. So let's see what, if anything changes Friday. Stays about the same. So like I said, the next 2 days, nice, calm, lake-like conditions. We've got a wind that's been coming from the west. It's going to start shifting as our Arctic weather heads this way. Friday in the afternoon, 2 foot. I head north most of the time. You're big, yep. You're not out of the loop there anyway. Maybe I'll run into you out there. We'll see. Maybe I get lucky. I'll find you being pulled by that wahoo. Okay, 2 foot, right down in the Keys a little bit more, because they had some elevated 4 foot. So hey, got to pay the price for living in paradise, right? All right. So that is Friday afternoon. Saturday, it's about the same stuff. So you see, they're saying they're calling Saturday. They're saying 3 foot. So we'll see. I saw this also on another forecasting tool that it was looking like it'll be a little bit more elevated on Saturday and then kind of a little bit on Sunday, right? So you see Sunday how we lightened up. So we're going to go 2 foot. So Sunday, like I said, right before this front starts to really push all the water, you can see the water accumulation right here and out here a little bit. You see, so that front. Remember, fronts push a ton of water, folks. So it's going to come. Sunday is the day to get out there and before the weather moves in, and then it'll be another half a week at least before it clears up. All right, yeah. As Sunday even rolls through, it looks like it's going to die down in front of the front. So that's you can get out there and get that bite on. Good to go. And Monday, here we go. Here comes all that water. And but it doesn't look like it's going to last real long. as it just rolls on by Florida. All righty, now let's go back to tomorrow. We will look at rain. See that it's really gonna be dry right now. We're in very dry conditions, folks. See if that front's gonna bring anything. This is tomorrow afternoon, Friday morning, nothing. Yeah, Saturday, a little moisture, but not much. Sunday, let's see if it's upstate. Yeah, it's not. The front is actually not carrying very much moisture with it at all. So, and then again, we're not going to get cold. We'll have a couple of days where it's going to be, in the 70s all day, Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, not much rain. A little bit overnight is what it's saying that we're going to get from the front. So a little bit of a little bit of weather as you sleep, and then you wake up and you will have some nice weather. All right, let's look at Windy, folks. Windy is the American version. This is my more, how do we say it? This is my more trusted forecast model that I like to go with. Windy is just, it's very graphic, easier. This is, if you understand the models and stuff, which is very simple, not too complicated, you can blast right through it. All right, so tomorrow, like I said, folks, right, southeast wind, mid single digits, low double, not gusty at all, cloudy, partly cloudy, right? As you can see right here, no moisture. 1 foot waves coming in from the northeast, increasing to 2 foot as we had seen, and a little bit above from Friday into Saturday. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Check this out. While we've got these waves, you've got to look at your period in between your waves, right? So we've got 1 foot waves at 13 seconds. That is nothing but, that's a dead flat sea. And even with 2 foot at 9 seconds. Now, as you can see, as night comes in into Friday, the period diminishes, which means we're going back to not necessarily chop, but bigger waves. Heading into Friday, we've got our mid double digits, not gusty, but cloudy, and it's going to take over, block out the sun some into Saturday. So we've got our waves, which is why our wave heights will be increasing as Saturday. And then as Saturday wanes on, you can see the wind dies down into Sunday. Ahead of our front, our prefrontal boundary, we have a dead sky, right? Which means our seas are going to lay down, and we increase our period of our waves coming on Sunday, which is great. Waves still coming from the east, hopefully pushing a little bit of debris and whatnot, but this is a prefrontal boundary. Look, we've got to pay attention to your, right? So winds, variable winds like this screw up fishing, okay? Even though we've got pressure change coming, which turns the fishing on, variable winds mess up fishing, okay? It messes up trolling, it messes up snapper fishing. The one thing that it doesn't really do anything to is deep dropping. Oh, speaking of which, it's golden tile fish season, folks. Forgot to talk about that. Hopefully, everybody, if you're into deep dropping, get out there and get them. I headed out Saturday with the Slayer, and we connected with a couple of nice ones. And I believe we put out a video on it showing everybody what we did. Anyway, Monday, here comes your bad weather heading into Tuesday, and then starting to clear up as the week goes on. And it doesn't even look, they can't tell you that far in advance. So, all right, yes, yeah, golden tilefish, man. We got a couple of nice ones. Yes, thank you, Pedro. It was very fun. So here's what we're gonna do this coming weekend. We are going to take everyone on a full-length deep drop adventure. It's going to show a couple things. First thing it's going to do is it's going to show you the patience and what it goes behind really deep drop, which the video doesn't lie. It's just all chopped up and edited, right? So you can get right to the point. You're going to see what it takes to get connected and to find a golden tilefish bite. And yes, we will connect with 2 of them, and we will catch them both. You're going to also see what it takes to drift and catch absolutely nothing on a drift. You're going to see also what it takes to how my thought process, which is a lot of explaining what I'm doing and my thought process on the fly as I'm fishing. So it'll give you a lot of insight behind how I get this, this fishing channel run, by myself. It'll be great. It's going to be long. It's going to be a couple of hours long. So I don't, you're going to be doing a lot of fast forwarding through, but you will see random talking, random camera holding and all that stuff. It'll give you a different inside view of, to just let you know what really goes on the boat. And it's absolutely nothing weird. I can promise you that. Anyway, so that's something that I was discussing with my wife, and she said that she thought it was a good idea to get, show everyone what really goes on. And I thought, hey, keep dropping videos, slow stuff, calm, serene, nothing hectic. We can do it, and if it's received well, maybe we could do it with a couple of different types of fishing expeditions as the year go on. We got our snapper, we got wahoo fishing, king fishing, all sorts of stuff. We just don't want to have a boring video or nothing. You have to have the expectation of, okay, this is going to happen. Yes. Hey, I got time. The girls in the house. You're the best. Okay, so let's talk moon, right, folks? We had a wahoo moon. Quite a few people capitalized on it. So this coming weekend, when you've got your cold front coming in, the moon ain't gonna be on your side. But we got a waning moon, right? What does waning mean? Waning means we're heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means we're heading towards the full moon. So right now, today, 78% waning, and we're going to get darker as the week goes on. And then past that, we will hit new moon and then start working towards our first full moon of the year. Well, it's so weird that this full moon came right as this was our first. We'll be working towards our February full moon. All right, 78% for Thursday, 69. Friday, 59% lit. Saturday, just under 50%. Sunday, 39%. So as we head into Sunday and next week, which we'll see what's going to happen with our weather, we're going towards the darker side of the moon. The darker side of the moon, your pelagic bite, your snapper bite and stuff, some bite tends to turn on. The mackerel bite will kind of, it'll be there, but it doesn't. It's more active when you get the moon pulling the water. So I just thoroughly believe that the pelagics are eating when the moon is illuminating the ocean less at night. Your bait fish can roam around more freely without being gorged on all night. It's that simple. All right, so we got the moon is, it's going to be a thing. And in case you couldn't see, this past weekend, the pelagic bite was non-existent. As I had said, I've been out there a couple of times, and it's, and we had that full moon. So getting those creatures, you do run across them. They're not non-existent, but the bite's a little slow, and that is a contributing factor. All right, now let's talk about some tides and get ready to get everybody on with their lights, right? All right, so here's our tide charts, folks, and the tide charts are most important for where we go to the inlet. So that's tomorrow. We'll talk about tomorrow, Thursday, right? Tides. Most important thing when you're talking about tides at the inlet, right? The inlet, the water flow has to be going out. You have to be heading towards low tide, right? From here to here. You can't have a rising tide and fish the inlet. The physics of it, the way nature works, just doesn't conform to it being a fishing area when the tide is coming in. The tide goes out, pushes out all the microorganisms and food particles and chlorophyll and everything that little bait fish come in and feed on, and then the big fish come in and feed on that. That's why that tide has to be going out. Tide's going in, it's sucking in all the brackish water and all the trash and stuff, and you don't get a feed, you don't get a bite. There's no water flow that's performative to making a conducive bite from the fish when you got a, when your tide is rising. Okay. Very worried. Sorry about that. Anyway, Thursday, right? So tomorrow we've got, our tide is, the tidal flow is ending. It's out as we're heading into dusk. So that kind of works. Again, another point to bring up with the tidal flow, not only does it have to be going out, it also helps greatly. Sorry, helps greatly if it's at the more, particular times where fish eat, being dusk and dusk and sunrise. Just like humans can get hungry, breakfast and dinner. Fish do too. If you've got your tidal flow perfectly up in the middle of the day, the sun's straight up. There's no shadows. Fish go and hide. Remember, fish are predators and prey. They don't think like humans. So, all right, Friday. Looking like a little bit more shift, which is the way it shifts. So, your dusk, you will have a little bit more of time to get a bite. If you're out before the sun rises, you've got that tidal flow. Saturday and Sunday, looks like Sunday being the best of those days, right? You've got the end of it. So if you're heading out, you've got about, maybe a half hour or so before that flow ends. And sometimes that's all you need. Other times the bite is at slack tide. So we'll see, and heading into Monday. So as we head into next week, the tidal flow would be more advantageous, but it's going to be left to see what the weather does. All right, that about does that for that. Okay, before we get out of here, folks, if you are on Facebook, I want to ask you, go on ahead, ask to join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report on Facebook. It looks like, it looks like this minus the date. Go up here, South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. This is a Facebook group, a private group. You have to ask to join, follow the rules, let me know you're not a bot, and then you can join the community. Post your fish, guaranteed to be showcased. Here's the towel fish I caught over the weekend with the slayer, by the way. That's that one, and there's a couple of them, like I said. All right. Yes. Private group, no bots allowed. We don't want people farming anybody's private information. And again, it's a community. Share your catches. Guaranteed to be showcased on the live show Tuesday. And if you're lucky enough to be selected, you can be the thumbnail for the live stream on YouTube. Again, this community right here is what directly drives this show every week. These are real feeds from real people who give real reports. This is not coming from the secretive charter captain that doesn't want you to know everything, that's going to mislead you. So he's got an open ocean. So this is what's really out there, folks. Anyway, come on, Pedro, everyone, Mr. KTM Days, everybody, thanks for all your submissions. And we will see you next Wednesday on the live show. And this Sunday, like I said, we've got a special one coming up. It's going to be lengthy, but you're going to be out there and see, what South Florida saltwater fishing is really about. All right, folks. That about does it. Till next Wednesday, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.